Hi, this is Mimi from Mimi's Paper Crafting. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be making fun fold cards, and we're going to be making pop-out cards this time. I already have a base cut, the normal A2 base 5.5 by 8.5, but we need another piece of paper. So I'm just going to come in here and grab a scrap that might be big enough. Hopefully it is. It needs to be 8 by 5. Oh, that is crooked. We'll go this way. That is a very crooked piece of paper. It's supposed to be 8 by 5. Okay, and what we're gonna do is normally I would score first. However, there are slices that are getting put into this paper, and I think if we slice first, that it'll help us in the long run of scoring. So I am going to mark this 1 inch over. So I'm just going to put a mark 1 inch here, and I'm going to draw a straight line that can be erased. I just feel like this might just be easier for us to do. And you know what? I'm going to do 1 inch to 1 inch right here because it has to be scored on that line. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm just going to make a mark at the inch, and then 1 inch from the top, 1 inch from the bottom, and make lines. See that? And now we need to cut this way. I just thought this would be a little bit easier when it comes to the scoring. So I'm going to push this over to the 1 inch line right here on my trimmer, and I'm going to pull my blade. Okay, and I'm going to turn and do the same thing on the other side. Line it up with the inch, sink my blade up, and go up to the inch. And now we have this. All right. Now, everything is falling. All right. For our scoring, I'm going to score in the middle at 4 inches. And we're going to score all the way down 4 inches. Okay, this was scored at 4.5. It's a normal A2 card. Then we're going to score at 1 inch, which is right here in our pencil line. And we're going to go to 1.5 inch, which is in our little box. That's where we're scoring. And we're going to score at 2.5, but to the line. We'll see if that's the 2.5. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to score at the 1 inch on this side, the 1.5 inch on this side, and the 2.5. Okay, so that's what it's going to look like. Let me write those down for you. Let me get this out of the way and write these down. So it's 5 by 8, scored at 4, 2.5, 5.5, I believe is what it is if you don't turn it. I just find it easier sometimes just to turn. Yeah, 5.5. This is 6.5, 7. And this is 1 and 1.5. Okay. And now we burnish our score lines. So we're going to start with the middle. Okay. And then we have these right here. We don't want to forget these. So right there, and we have these little edges. Okay. This goes in. We're going to pop this out like so. Okay, so it's going to look like this. I'm just going to score those again. Oops, let's not rip it. So when it opens, it looks like this. Okay? So what we're going to do is take our piece and we're going to glue our piece in. Let's make sure we're gluing it in the right spot so it'll look like this when it opens. You see that? That's what it'll look like. And because this is, I guess it should get glued in what, a quarter, right? Because this is 8-inch, this is 8.5, so we should glue it in a 1/4 inch on each side. And these will be glued down like so. I'm just going to estimate, you guys. If I was doing this to send out, I would make sure it was not estimated, but for our purposes here, estimated. There we go. And then you would just put something on here and here. Such a cute little card. And this is called a, I don't even know, pop out book. Okay. Pop out book card. Let me put my pin in my glue before my glue gets clogged. We don't want to play that game today. So pop out book card, and the base is A2. All right, let's get on to the next one. I'm going to find what the next one is. All right, now we're going to be doing an accordion pop out. So we need, I'm just going to use the other A2 card base from the first one, and we need another piece of paper. I'm just going to use this yellow, and it needs to be cut to 8 inches. Let's go this way. So we're not wasting a ton of paper. 8 inches by 4 3/4. Okay, so this is our insert, and now we need to score. Because this is an A2, let's just score at our 4 1/4. So that's done, and this one we need to score at 2, 4, 6. So every 2 inches. So we need, this is 8 by 4 3/4, 2, 4, 6. So 8 inches this way, 4 3/4 this way, 2 inch right there, 4 inch and 6 inch. Okay, now we need to cut, and we are going to cut up. Let me put this way. We're going to cut on an angle, and we're cutting. Let's mark this. We need this to be 2 inches up. Give me some room. So 2 inches up. Wrong side. Help if we had this the right side, right? So we're going to make a mark 2 inches up, and that is right here. All right. And then we're going to cut from the corner to our mark. Okay. And this is what it leaves us with. So let me also write that on there. There we go. All right, so there is that piece. And now we're just going to fold. I make pockets like this all the time for journals. And then I would glue it here and glue it here, and it would be a flip out like this, and this would be a pocket, and this would be a pocket. Just in case you were wondering. All right. And then let me go back to my information. This is just going to get glued like this. See? So it looks like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it like I did the other ones, and I'm going to put glue. I don't know I think my son's cat is doing something upstairs. He is being super crazy right now. There's something going on. There's like banging and crap. I don't know, maybe, what time is it? My dad shouldn't be home from the doctor yet. Okay, and we're just going to close this up. All right. And while we have this closed and the glue is waiting, I'm going to put down that this is an accordion pop out. A2 base, and accordion is 4 3/4 by 8. Okay. All right, we ready? There it is. Super. This one's like probably the easiest one we'll make today. Super easy. All right, let me find the next one. Okay, next up is a W pop-out card, and we're starting with a normal A2 card base and then a 3x6 piece of cardstock. So we're going to score the 3x6 piece of cardstock at 3 inches and put that aside. And now we're going to take our 8.5 by 5.5 A2 card base, and we are going to score at 2 1/8. Okay, 4 1/4 like normal, right in the middle, and then 6 3/8. Okay, that is what we're scoring at. Let me write that down. So this is 3 inches by 6 inches and scored at 3 inches. Okay. And then this one is, oh my God, jeez, Louise, my ear is just so bad, you guys. So 4 1/4, 2 1/8, and 6 3/8. And this is 8.5 by 5.5. Okay. Great. This is also super easy. So all we're going to do is fold like so. Right? Am I looking at that right? Yes. And then this gets put like this. Right? Am I looking at that right? Okay. Yes, I am right. So this is going to be adhered like that, and then when it gets sent like this. Okay, so when you open it, it opens and it sits like this. Okay, so we're only going to glue a little bit of this onto this base, so I'm just going to put some glue on either side. And like I said, this is and I'm going to glue it to about here. And then I'm going to close it up, and this is how, like I said, this is how you would be sending it. And then when you open it up, the person opens it up, it's like this. All right, so we need to talk about mats. You need a lot of mats for this. So these are all 2 1/8. So this is a W pop out card, A2 base, 3x6 insert, and the mats would be, this is what, 5.5, yeah. So I would do, because it's all in 8s, I would do 2 inches by 5 1/4. No, 5 3/8, which I don't usually like to do with my mats, but because it's 8s, that's how I would do it. And then the 3-inch square would be 2 7/8. I'll stick with the 8s by 2 7/8. And you need 8 of these and 2 of those. There you go. And then when you open it, this is what it looks like. Okay? All right, let's move on to the next one. Okay, so this one is 3D pop-up cubes. Okay? Okay, you heard me, 3D pop-up cubes. And you need 3 strips. And the strips have to be 3.5 by 8.5. Okay, and 1 3/4 by 8.5, and 1 3/4 by 8.5. So you need 3 total strips. Two of them 1 3/4 by 8.5, and one of them 3.5 by 8.5. Okay, and you're going to score all of them at the same spot. So I'm going to do it one at a time so you can see it done. You need to score at 1 3/4, 1 3/4, 3.5, 5 1/4, and 7. Okay, do that again. 1 3/4, 3.5, 5 1/4, and 7. Oh, did not finish scoring that one. Let's get all the way down at the bottom. So 1 3/4. I already forgot. Is that right? Yes. 1 3/4, 3.5, 5 1/4, and 7. Okay, let me write those down. So 1 3/4, 3.5, 5 1/4, and 7. Alrighty. Now we're going to make the cubes, and I'm going to flip them upside down so my measurements are on the outside. But we're going to take the first, they're all the same. So we're just going to fold over the first and then the middle. Okay? And then the middle. All right, and we're going to glue these together. So we're going to glue them together. Okay. All right. Now they're going to become cubes. So we're just popping them out. Let me cube, cube, cube. The tall one goes up like this with the hole up at the top. And then you're going to take a smaller one and glue them down like so. So we're going to glue these together like this. So one. Okay, so they'll be glued together like so. So when they're folded, they'll look like this. Okay, so I'm going to take this right here, and I'm going to take one side, and I am going to line it up so that the score is on the outside of that cube. Okay, I'm going to take the next one and do the same thing. Put some glue on there and line it up. I'm going to flip it upside down so we can see and make sure that score line is able to move. Okay, I'm going to let this dry. Hold on. Okay, so it's dry, and then when the person pulls it out of the envelope, it just pops up. Look at that. How cool is that? And you could put stuff on here like, do I have anything? Hold on, let me look. Okay, so I dug through my stash and I just found this Christmas tree. So we're just going to use that because it's already done. And what you would do would be glue. I mean, I wouldn't do it in yellow, but it's the paper I have sitting right here. So I would do it in brown in this instance because it is a Christmas tree. And then you would glue it to this pop right here. So when the person brings it out and sets it up, it would be a little Christmas tree. I would actually put it back a little farther. Let's move it. Put it back just a tad. There we go. That's better. The only thing you have to be cognizant of when doing this card is how big your little pop-up things would be. So there you go. It would be like a little Christmas tree, and you could make a little scene, but that's what it looks like. It just pops up, and then to fold it, you just fold it flat. So this is a triple cube. Pop out, and the cubes are 3.5 by, I already forgot, what was it, you guys? 8.5. And you need one of those, and 1 3/4 by 8.5, and you need 2 of those, and then scored at 1 3/4, 3.5, 5 1/4, and 7. There we go. So that I always forget, you guys, to put my pin back in my glue, and this is why I have so many problems with my glue. So like I said, then you just pop it out, and you could put all kinds of stuff. You could put a bunch of stuff on the outside or the inside of here, some stuff on here. You can put it everywhere and make a really cute little pop out card. So we have the triple cube pop out. We have the W pop out. We have the accordion pop out. And we have the pop out book card. Like so. That is what we have. These are the 4 pop out cards for this month's Fun Fold cards. So cube, accordion, book, and W. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you are enjoying these videos. I'm enjoying doing them. I'm not going to lie. It's so much easier. Listen, I have them just sitting here. Hold on, I'll show you. Under my laptop stand, I just have all of my Fun Fold cards that we have done so far together just sitting here. I need to figure out a way to store these and store them in like categories like pop out, step, easel, and all that. So I have them, but here we go. This is what we did this month, and let me know down below. Are you enjoying these videos? I hope you are, because I'm enjoying making them, and I'm enjoying having them all in one spot. That way, if I want to make a Fun Fold card, I have them right where I need them, and it's been working out really well for me. So you let me know how you feel about it, and if there are any Fun Fold cards that you are interested in that I could make a video on, that type of card, you let me know. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and I will see you guys in the next crafty video. Have a great rest of your day.